Happy Monday. I hope you had a great Father's Day weekend. Let's get into this one. And guess what? I'm not going to talk about the real estate market. We're going to talk about your next three moves as the world changes around us, as the world changes around you. You really need to put everything into perspective. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because we get so excited and we get so emotional, we sometimes let that take over what is most important. And I want to start off with a simple quote for you. And this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. So let me just share this with you. You may have already heard it. That's okay. Here we go. It's by Marcus Aurelius back in what? 150, around 150 common era, whatever that is now, ADEAC, I don't even know. Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes, the obstacles to our acting. And then the end here, this is the key. The impediment to action advances action. In other words, what stands in the way becomes the way. And let me just tell you, that's exactly what's happening right now. A lot of us are really reluctant to do the things that we need to do. We already know what it is that we need to do. Look, the hard path that you have in front of you, that's what you actually need to do. You need to go right through it. In other words, Ryan Holiday's book, The Obstacle is the Way. Right? Anytime you see the hard path, the things that you need to do, the world's changed around you. I mean, look at the stock market, right? And housing is doing well right now. We don't know what's going to happen up or down. It looks like it should be a pretty good market as long as the interest rates don't climb even more. But regardless, the way you look at things is up to you. And that's what I really wanted to talk about. Here are the three things that you need to take a look at. And I took these notes for you, so I'm not going to just slingshot this one. The very first one is let's have a mental reset. And that means it's going to take a lot more quality time. It's going to take a lot more quality connections. And it reminded me of a great interview that I did with Barbara Corcoran. I'm just going to play you a minute of that. And I'm going to show it to you because she said it best when I was talking to her. She said, Tristan, you know what? I'm not even going to say it here. I'm just going to play it for you. I'm just going to turn it up for you here.
Smart, happy, energized people. It's lovely. Put me with an energy sucker. I spot them a mile away. I'm like, off with their head. I'm never going. And you know what a great test on new friendship is? Because I'm very good at making friends. There's no replacement for an old friend who knew you when. But I'm very good at making old friends. And I have a little litmus test that I do. I'll talk to them. Wow, I could tell they really want to be my friend. They're so nice. They're so smart. They're so such and such. But then I'm with them 2-3 hours for dinner, and then they leave, and I'm acutely aware of how I feel right after they leave. And I even have either a pop-up like, oh, wasn't that fun? Or I feel like a little, whew, like a relief. Even though I thought I was enjoying them, I'm like, phew, okay, now.
That's the key. Did you hear what she said? Now let me stop sharing really quick for you, just so we can talk about that, because that litmus test is key. And all of us have that along the way. When we're with people, we either feel like, wow, that was amazing. I didn't even know that was 4 hours, 5 hours, however long it was. And then you have the opposite, which is, man, I'm glad that one's done. And I don't want you to be that person. I don't want you to be that person on the other end. Because as soon as this conversation with Barbara was done, we were just chilling, talking, and we're like, this is awesome. Let's do this again, right? That's the impression that you want to leave on people, because that's number one. There's a reset that needs to happen. You need to surround yourself with better quality people. Because if you're surrounding yourself with people that are telling you, hey, there's a conspiracy theory here, and the world is flat and a whole bunch of other crap, you don't want that. You also don't want people around you only looking at the negative things that are happening around you, because there's two choices. Look, shit's going to happen no matter what. But how you look at it, whether you see opportunities, really depends on how you've wired yourself and those people around you. So there's a mental reset that needs to happen. You need to look internally and say, hey, where am I? Where am I here? Am I reacting with anxiety? Do I feel like the world is actually falling apart, or do I see opportunity? Because in transition, and you've seen this in the past, in transition all through history, you see there are opportunities, and it's up to you to look for those. But if you're the one that's victimizing yourself, if you're the one that's living in your poor little me world, you're not going to see anything. You need a mental reset. That's number one. Number two, relationships matter more than ever. And your communication style matters too. There's a great book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. He talks about 7-38-55. And in that, he says, hey, look, pay attention here to the words that you use, even though it's only 7% of what people are actually perceiving, right? 35%, pay attention, 35% is tonality, how you're delivering that fluctuation in voice. And 55% is body movement, right? Your eyes, where you're moving, how you're standing, folded arms, all of this stuff. And the best example is this, and we've all done it to some extent or another. We're at a party, we're talking to people, somebody comes up to us and says, yeah, my name is so-and-so, and you're looking at them and you're looking at what earrings they're wearing or what kind of pants they're wearing or what's on their head or maybe the way they're standing, whether you like them or not. You're categorizing them. You're going like that. And then they say their name and then you forget it. That happens. Because even us, when we're paying attention to people, right? It's their movements. It's the tonality. It's not really the words you're using all the time. And so with that, relationships. Number two is relationships. When you're calling up people in your phone, in your database, right? Whatever database you have, when you're reaching out to people, you've got to connect with them. You can't be an extension of what they're watching on the media. You've got to be the solution. What is the solution, right? Are you full of facts or are you full of emotions? And remember, the things that you deliver, they remember. It's how you make people feel, whether it's by text, whether it's by call, whether it's on social media. And let me tell you, the last time I checked, when I visited the most visited websites in the world, I'm just going to share this with you. Here's a list of the most visited websites in the world, and we're just going to scroll to the top here. This is on Wiki. You can find this. Number one is Google. Number two is YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Those are the top 5 as of May 1st, 2022 on Wiki, right? Now, we're always talking about what? Meet the consumer where they're at. And yet we're almost doing the opposite when we don't even take a look at what's our Google game to build relationships. What's our YouTube game, our Facebook game, our Twitter game, our Instagram, TikTok, anything. No, TikTok's on that list. It's 18. LinkedIn is 23. The key is everything that we use, regardless of what era we're in, and it's never going to change, it comes down to relationships. That's the key here, right? And I want you to go in deeper because the relationships you're going to build are new. And you're going to maintain the old ones. What does that look like overall? Think about this. What tech are you going to use? How are you going to deliver the message of solution, of value versus, hey, the world's going to hell and I'm believing it. Guys, this has happened before in the past. We've gone through ups and downs. What's your solution here? Because that solution extends to the relationships that you have. And how actively are you communicating that to your clients, to your database, to your sphere? And are you using social media? That's the key right there. And number 3 here, you've got to continually be learning. The best example I can give you is through a parable. And you all know this parable. Well, not all of you. Most of you know this parable. And that's the parable of the talents. And I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to give you the lowdown on the parable. So there's this parable. There's this big boss, and he goes and says, hey, I've got these 3 servants. I'm going to give them talents, money. I'm going to give this one 5. I'm going to give this one 2. And I'm going to give this one 1. I'm going to come back a year later or so to see how they did with these talents, this money, right? So it gives the one 5, comes back to him and says, so how'd it go? He's like, well, master, I did amazing with it, and I duplicated it. Instead of 5, I have 10 now. And then the big boss goes, wow, amazing. You've done so well with the little I've given you. I'm going to reward you. Went to the second one. The second guy goes then, hey, the 2 talents you gave me, I duplicated it. I got 4. And the big boss is like, damn, you did good too. You did really well with the little that I gave you. I'm going to reward you. Then he went to the third one, the one he gave 1 talent to. That guy goes, hey, you know what? I was a little bit worried about, possibly losing this. And I know that you wanted to, I know what kind of person you are. And I didn't want to screw it up because I got a little bit scared. So I hid it. And here it is. It's 1 talent. It's back. I got it for you. The big boss goes, what the hell? I didn't give you the 1 talent to give me the exact same thing back. I expected more of you. I expected you to do something with what I gave you. And a lot of us are just sitting there with the exact same talents we have and not doing more. Do you see that correlation? You consistently have to be learning. We have up to 80,000 thoughts in a day. And yet some of us have the same recurrent thoughts from last month because we haven't learned anything new. Is there an excuse now? I mean, the internet is there. We have webinars. YouTube's around. Learn something. There's no excuse. Read a book. Right now is an opportunity to grow. Because as you continually learn, you unlearn the ways of those things that you were doing not so great. And then you put them into action. Because as you put things into action, you also learn through failure, right? And that one guy at the end, the third guy with 1 talent, he was so scared of not doing anything with that talent and maybe losing it, that it caused him to create no action. And that's the opposite of what you need to do. So remember that. Those are the 3 things. And just keep on paying attention to what's happening around you with a better mindset. This is why I need you to reset your mind. Surround yourself with better people. Look for those people that look for opportunities, not problems. Right? And remember, the obstacle is the way. And if you ever need my help with anything, I'm right here to help you out. Just reach out to me, please. And obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you have not gone to my podcast, please go on there. It's free. It's through Success Magazine. It's called Brilliant Thoughts, and I interview the most amazing people on there. Go on there, download it, just listen to the Barbara Corcoran one, and do me a favor. 3 things. Let's have a mental reset. Number 2, relationships matter more than ever. It's time to communicate with them in all of these various different ways. And number 3, continually be learning and apply what you're learning. And don't be scared to fail because it's going to happen. The faster you do it, the kind of more you get used to it, because I'm still scared sometimes. So have an awesome day, everybody. I'll probably see you tomorrow. And if anybody noticed Spider-Man with the Lab Coat Agents hat, kudos to you.